Today I have the 2025 Ram RHO. We're talking exhaust. We're actually talking about airflow the whole way through. We get the exhaust note. There are people in the comments that said, Tim, you're hiding the exhaust note. It's conspiracy. They don't want to show it to you. Yeah. I'm here with Doug Killian. He is the Chief Engineer for Vehicle Systems Dynamics.
Yeah, vehicle synthesis, vehicle development.
Wow, I get a cookie for that one.
Mouthful.
This is Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. Let's go ahead and talk about airflow. We'll talk about the cold air intake. We'll go around, talk about some stuff special happening with the exhaust, and then the creme de la creme. We'll hit the throttle, give you a little bit of the exhaust note. Yeah. Let's get to the video. All right, so Doug, let's talk about this.
All right, so something very visible. We're talking air intake and exhaust. The most visible thing is the cold air intake right at the top of the hood. So much more than aesthetics. This is where all of the engine air charge comes in. And
for those that don't know, the uninitiated, why does airflow matter? Because turbos want cold air. They want to run hot, but they need cold air, right?
Yeah, our turbos want airflow.
Right.
Colder air is actually denser air. So the colder we can get that intake charge, the better.
Right.
And that's where starting up at the top and having the most fresh air. Otherwise, we do also like a clean air charge.
Right.
And we put it behind the grill, so it's protected. But when I show you where the air goes after it comes in through the hood, it's great that it comes in one high for water fording, and number two is it's going to be the coldest, and it's not going to catch any of the heat off, say, the radiator.
And I've discussed with viewers about this. The reason why we make grills bigger, we make this airflow, these open, is more airflow as well.
Yeah, more airflow. In this case, it's for the cooling module, so it's going through the radiator, the condenser, intercooler. But for the engine, what the engine is actually breathing is coming right through the top here.
Yep.
So the next phase for the air to go is it comes through the top and it goes through this Ram airflow module here. So this is essentially ducting the air internal to the hood.
Okay.
And it's ducting it over to the passenger side. But before I go too far to the passenger side, I want to point out that there are drains in the back. If you are water fording and you do intake some water, is that any debris, water, etc., will be discharged out the back. So these three outlets right here are part of the overall management of air that we cannot certainly get into the engine.
And that's what people don't always understand with water fording. They're like, hey, I got bigger tires and go water fording. Well, wait, you have electronics, you have airflow, you have things. One of the issues you run into with alternator placement, electrical placement.
Absolutely.
And so you want if you're water fording, you got to keep it off the electrical, and that's why those make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that from the engine standpoint, protecting the engine from breathing in water, that's key to a design like
I hear that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing for making it out of the water and making it home.
Still going home, right?
Yes. So the story of that little air molecule, as we're coming in, it's ducted over to the right.
And that goes right on. Okay.
And it's going to essentially get drawn down here. So we can see this. There's a bulb seal that wraps around full 360, and this is essentially sealing off to this hood inner panel here.
Okay.
So that air is all essentially coming in through the hood into this into the air filter, which is removable. There's a screw down here. It's a simple, field cleaning. Pop it off, shake it out.
Right.
Especially running in sandy environments where we do a lot of our development testing, is we will get some sand in this area. Good to clean it out, get the breathing back, open up the lungs, so to speak.
Okay.
When we're doing work that really wants the most power out of the engine.
So yeah, it's just one of those. It's just.
It's a screw clamp.
Right.
Clamp.
Yeah. But we don't have the quick thing. We just have to screw it. Take it off.
It's a screwdriver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
yeah. Because we also want to make sure it's tight.
Right.
So, figure anyone that's going to want to do that out in the field is probably going to have a screwdriver.
I carry a screwdriver and duct tape with me, but.
Congratulations, yeah. Got any zip ties in there?
Probably.
Like that?
Baling wire in Nebraska, baling wire, farmers got it, it's easy, it works.
Good. Perfect. Yeah, so that's a quick, and with the worm clamp, you can clamp it down tight, because if this isn't tight, well, now it's going to start taking air from wherever it can get it. So we did put a worm clamp on there, make sure that when it goes back, it's on tight. Okay, so that is that cold air charge that's going to come in and then head into the intake manifold of the Hurricane HO.
Right, the inline 6.
Correct.
Inline.
Correct.
People keep saying V6, and I'm like, there's a big difference. V6 and inline 6.
Huge
difference. I've driven both of them, and I love inline 6s. They seem like, from a power delivery standpoint and driving standpoint, they're really well balanced, and I don't feel like, it's hard to explain. They always want to argue with me on this, but feels like a V6. It just feels different. Inline 6 feels more balanced.
Well, that's those secondary vibrations. The most balanced layout architecture of an engine with 6 cylinders is inline.
Okay.
So there are 0 secondary forces as the pistons are going up and reciprocating, and the connecting rods are spinning, the crank is spinning. All those forces cancel each other out. So it is truly the most balanced layout. Other engines, 4 cylinders, will have secondary forces. That's why balance shafts in some cases are put in larger 4 cylinders. Even when we talk about a V6, a 90-degree V6, if the cylinders are at a 90-degree angle versus a 60-degree angle, there's more secondary forces at a 90 versus 60. It all goes to 0. So I'll say the purest engine layout is a straight 6, and that's why some people can appreciate the sound of a straight 6 because it's so smooth. But what it tends to lack is that character that, say, a V8, a supercharged V8, those engines do have a firing order, and those pulses essentially more displacement, and the sound of it's almost like an orchestra. As an analogy, there's just more noise, there's more stuff to do, and create that really, frankly, V8 exhaust noise is the best.
Right.
It really wakes up the car guy when you hear a V8 or feel a V8 going by. It's awesome.
But I will say, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
This one's, hold on, don't turn off yet. This one's really good.
Okay.
This is really good. Yeah, I had the same agreement with the V8s, but we have emissions. We have different countries that give emissions differences based on cylinders. They have dealership lots. We have a lot of stuff going on, and we have efficiency, and we have the torque. There's a video coming on driving impressions. I got to stop talking about that because I'm going to break the embargo, get an email from Ram. I'm not going to talk about it, but stay attention to the driving portion of this because there's a lot of stuff to say with that. So let's keep moving around here.
Okay.
Because it's rainy and
So we've gotten to exhaust, right?
Yes.
We started talking about the exhaust, and
man, I feel like we're taking a
straight
master
six-
class here. There's a quiz when we're done.
Okay. All right. I guess I better write that up. A straight 6 has its own signature sound, and yes, V8s are awesome, but I think there's a whole group of people that can appreciate what a straight 6 sound can be, and when it's so smooth, it's like, okay, it's just a different experience in a straight 6.
Okay.
Now the turbos themselves, 28 psi, they make a ton of boost, but they also provide some restriction as the exhaust flows through a turbo. It loses a little bit of that sound character that it has as pure pulses coming out. So we then said, all right, well, RHO, it's a cool truck. It wants to sound good. So we have tuned equal length exhaust, true dual. There's no let's say going to a single pipe and then back to duals to fake it out the back. These are true duals, front to back, and equal length. So when we look under the truck, we'll see that why do they route the exhaust that way? It's because we wanted to get the true equal length out of the 2 pipes, and that's important for the power delivery out of the engine, getting the most power out of it.
Okay.
We also connect those 2 pipes with an H connector. So we call it an H. Sometimes there's X connectors, but we've gone with an H layout in this one. So we're tuning those pulses of the 6 cylinders. The exhaust pulses coming through are essentially what's creating the noise of and the character of the exhaust sound. So that H connector and the placement of that H connector is important to the sound character that we wanted. And then we also have a passive valve, a flow control valve, which will release under pressure as the engine revs come up and the exhaust pressure gets higher. That's now letting more exhaust sound out, and that's right in front of the center muffler in the truck. So there's even more sound. I think you'll notice when we go to wide open throttle, high RPMs, we get even more sound character out of the truck, and that's because we have those flow control valves in there.
Okay.
So those are visible really only if you climb under the center of the truck.
All right, I'm gonna take one for the team here, guys. You guys gotta appreciate this. So let me, I'll just show the footage here. Let's see.
You're going to see the drive shaft probably.
Drive shaft, yep.
Yeah, the exhaust is running on the the pipes are running along the passenger side.
Okay, so let me
You
get
can see them over there.
Yeah, I can see them over there.
Yep.
Let me get on the passenger side. We'll get around the passenger side.
Yep.
I want to make sure I can show you this best I can. We don't have a lift, we don't have this kind of stuff.
And if you find that muffler just in front of the rear wheels, and in front of the muffler as well, you'll see those little flow valves.
Okay.
So I'll have you come back here.
So there is our exhaust. We'll go down there, and then mufflers right there. And so we can see those, I can see those valves around that muffler. Okay.
You got it.
And then, all right, that goes to the back. So now we have one muffler but 2 exhaust. That's what I'm saying. duals going into the muffler and going out?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So one muffler. Okay. All right. And then we go. That goes
Correct. And
back.
those pipes continue into the muffler, and there's some perforations in there, so that's another area
Right,
that we're tuning the sound. But we've maintained the volume of the true dual pipes
Okay.
all the way back.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Took one for the team. Let's
Yep.
let me get up here. Filming one camera. A little bit difficult.
All right. Gymnastics move there.
Yep. Right. Not limber, fat white guy move. Yeah.
So we can even see
Oh, you can even
through
see it,
here.
yeah.
You can see those pipes coming back over the axle.
Right.
So 2 pipes in, 2 pipes out.
Yeah. Right back in there. I guess if I can. It's like right there on camera. It's hard to make out, but it comes right back there. And we come out, and then we have. So we have one exhaust on this side. So we run the other exhaust. So you're doing that in front of the spare tire.
You got it.
And
Yep.
coming around and coming out there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And there is another tuning element. It's not just the pipes coming back. And there's actually something we call an RFP, resonance-free pipe. And that's actually replacing what you may have seen these things. It's like a little exhaust, looks like a little muffler in front of the tips. Well, these little patches, and I think we might be able to catch it on the passenger side. On the outside, it looks like a little steel patch, almost like a.
It's right.
It's right here. I'm gonna point to it right here.
Yeah, the best I can do with the camera. All right, we got it back there. Okay.
Yep. And so that is actually, that's a tunable element. That little, almost looks like a Band-Aid or a gauze pad. It has perforations in it. That allows us to cancel some of the exhaust waves. Think of it like a wave. We can tune out some frequencies that just don't sound great. So we actually have 4 of those patches on there, and the placement of them will cancel out specific frequencies that just don't sound great.
Okay.
So that's another tuning element, really unique to this truck. It makes it lighter because we don't have those extra exhaust can resonators, and it looks better. So
Okay. So the muffler guy needs to know not to cut those off.
it'll sound different if you do.
Yeah, don't do that.
Not as good.
All right. All right. Let's wrap this up. I'm gonna stand back here, and I'll take my mic off, and I'll put it next to the exhaust, and you're gonna have fun inside the cabin.
Yep.
And you can roll down the window and tell me what you know. Let me ask you this: we have 9 drive modes in this.
Yes.
So is Baja the best sound? Is it changed by sound?
It does not change by sound, but one thing is that in Baja, the revs will stay up. It won't shift to like 4,400 RPM even on light throttle. So it'll sound different only because it's revving higher more often. But I can blip the throttle even in park. I'll just blip the throttle. It'll you hear some burbles and pops and things that a non RHO doesn't have.
Right.
I tend to tune that out. Here, it's actually some of those noises we want them.
Right. I thought it was interesting today. We're talking about this. So same engine in the high output as far as the tungsten things, different exhaust in the RHO.
Big time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You have fun. I'm gonna be back here.
I'm gonna do a few blips and then I will drive away and
Don't blow me over.
maybe come pick you up.
Hey, come back here. Well, I hope he comes picks me back up because it's a long walk back to the event we're having today. And I hope you found that interesting and useful. Yes, they're not hiding the exhaust note. We just need to get to this truck to drive it. As I said in the videos I put out, I didn't get a chance to really hear it. I think it's pretty good for 996. What do you think? Put your comments down below. Check out the website as well. pickuptrucktalk.com. I'm going to stop getting rained on. I'm going to go get a little lunch. But as always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road. Great. Now I got to walk.